Hello, this is Dave, and this is the second part of the JC Exposed video. I made the mistake of actually saying the name of this idol, where it says in Exodus 23:13, "And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth." So I will not be using the name, but JC, or the New Testament Messiah instead. Now, there are a vague number of supposed prophecies of JC. Some say 300, others say 400, and all sorts of numbers in between. Now, I personally believe that the uncertainty is deliberate. It means that if one of these prophecies is conclusively disproved, then it can be claimed not to be one of the main prophecies. So I'm going to take a look at the so-called prophecies that keep cropping up whenever a Christian tells me that JC was spoken of in the Book of Remembrance. Namely, Isaiah 7:14, Isaiah 9:6, Isaiah 53, Proverbs 8:23, Micah 5:2, Psalms 22, Psalms 110:1, and Daniel 9:25. These so-called prophecies all seem to follow the same pattern. They are isolated verses, or in some cases partial verses, that are meant to be read as standalone statements, which sound all prophetic and New Testament Messiah-like, but somehow they're assuming that the prophets, while speaking about contemporaneous events, suddenly switch in mid-sentence to saying a few words about a character in the far future, and then immediately go back to the events at hand. Which is kind of ridiculous, really, isn't it? But if you were to take the heretical step of actually reading these verses in context, then it's obvious that they're not prophecies of a New Testament Messiah at all. Whereupon the determined Christian will fall back to saying that it's some kind of dual prophecy, something that isn't supported by Scripture or even mentioned anywhere in the Book of Remembrance. And it bears repeating that if the JC story was real, then it would be the most amazing event in the history of history. The Most High Creator of all things incarnating on earth in the flesh. There can be nothing more important than that. So why does the Book of Remembrance, a book that covers the last phase of Earth's history, beginning at Adam, right through to the last days, why is this book not aware of this event? Especially when the Most High promises that he'd reveal such things to us. Amos 3:7. "Surely the Most High will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets." The Book of Enoch also contains a complete record of events, with animals representing the various characters and people in those events. However, the New Testament Messiah is not represented at all. So according to the Book of Remembrance and the Book of Enoch, JC never existed, and there is no such entity as a New Testament Messiah. So let's take a close look at the supporting evidence that he did exist. So we're going to start by looking at Matthew chapter 1, verses 21 to 23. "And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name JC, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now all this was done, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us." So Matthew is referencing Isaiah 7:14, but right away there is a contradiction. In Matthew chapter 1 verse 21, an angel says in a dream that he shall be called JC. But then in verse 23, the Most High says that he'll be called Emmanuel. But we'll come back to that. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. "Therefore the Most High himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." So this is an example of taking a verse in isolation and making claims upon it, just because it sounds right. In order to verify the claim, that it is a prophecy of the New Testament Messiah, we have to look at the verses before and after to find out the context. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. So this occurred while Ahaz was the king of Judah, and he was attacked by the northern kingdom and Syria. Ahaz repelled the attack, but was worried that they should attack again. But the Creator told him that they would not. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 7. Thus saith the Most High, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. The Creator told Ahaz to ask for a sign so that he would be reassured that he wouldn't be attacked. Not anything to do with JC hundreds of years later. Isaiah chapter 7 verses 10 and 11. Moreover, the Most High spoke again to Ahaz, saying, ask thee a sign of the Most High your power. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above. So Ahaz refused because he didn't want to tempt the Most High. So the Creator said he'd give him a sign anyway. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. Therefore the Most High himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. In the Hebrew, the word for virgin is Alma. That's H5959, and it means young woman of marriageable age. But when it was translated into Greek in Matthew 1:26, it was translated as Parthenos, which actually means virgin. In Hebrew, the word Bethula, that's H1330, that's the word that means virgin. Please note that JC was never called Emmanuel or God with us. But the prophecy continues. Isaiah chapter 7 verses 15 and 16. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. Nowhere in the New Testament does it say that JC ate butter and honey. But it does say that before this child gets too old, the kings that Ahaz fears will be no more. The next verses describe what the Most High does to the land to create an abundance of butter and honey in the days of Ahaz. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 18. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Most High shall hiss for the fly that is in the uttermost part of the rivers of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. And Isaiah chapter 7 verses 21 and 22. And it shall come to pass in that day that a man shall nourish a young cow and 2 sheep. And it shall come to pass for the abundance of milk that they shall give, he shall eat butter, for butter and honey shall everyone eat that is left in the land. So because of what the Most High did to the land, there was an abundance of butter and honey that everyone ate, including the child. So Isaiah chapter 7 verses 15 to 16 is a timeline marker that gave Ahaz an indication of when the prophecy will be fulfilled. So first the king of Assyria is killed. That's 2 Kings chapter 15 verse 30. And Hoshea son of Elah made a conspiracy against Pekah the son of Remaliah, and smote him and slew him, and reigned in his stead in the 20th year of Jotham son of Uzziah. And then the northern kingdom. Isaiah chapter 9 verses 11 and 12. Therefore the Most High shall set up the adversaries of Rezin against him, and join his enemies together, the Syrians before and the Philistines behind. And they shall devour Israel with open mouth. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 9. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, For the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. Prophecy fulfilled. And the days of Ahaz, which is the historical context for all these events, end hundreds of years before JC. Isaiah chapter 14 verse 28. In that year that King Ahaz died with his burden, he actually died in 728 BC. In Isaiah chapter 8 verse 18, it says that Isaiah's children would be for prophetic signs. Isaiah chapter 8 verse 18. Behold, I and the children whom the Most High hath given me are for signs and for wonders in Israel, from the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion. So Isaiah had 3 sons. Shear-Jeshub means a remnant will return. Emmanuel means God is with us. Maher-Shalal-Hashbaz means the spoil speeds, the prey hastes, all of which were used as prophetic signs. Emmanuel's name was to be a sign that within a year or so, Assyria will come and plunder both Israel and Syria. And sure enough, in 2 Kings chapter 15:27, it tells that Pekah reigned for 20 years. And in 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 1, Ahaz became king in Pekah's 17th year. So the prophecy occurred within a 3-year window. 2 Kings chapter 15:27, in the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Remaliah, began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 20 years. 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 1. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. So it's really narrowing down exactly where that prophecy was fulfilled. So Matthew was being very deceptive. In Isaiah, it says that the boy's mother will call his name Emmanuel. But Matthew changes it to an unnamed they, who shall call his name Emmanuel. However, nowhere in the New Testament does anyone ever call him Emmanuel, or give him the title God with us. The Most High does not lie, nor does he change. So if Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14 is a prophecy of the New Testament Messiah, then the Most High commanded that his name shall be Emmanuel. So why then is he not named Emmanuel? So you've got to ask, did the Most High lie, or did he change his mind?
Help those who are constantly making a fool of themselves by not taking out time to look at, investigate, look into what we are actually saying. Most of you are just emotional. Even the men are being emotional. It's like you have to check and see who am I talking to? Is it a man or a woman? Because emotional behind the fact that you're just wrong, and Yahuwah already tells us who he is for us. Let me before I give you this information, I need to encourage you, because it's not my fault that they did this. But what my job is to do is to expose it as Yahuwah exposes it to me. See, I don't know everything, but I'm not so proud, and I'm humble enough to listen to Yahuwah when he says, pause. Now it's time to see something else. And he's been doing me like that. And yes, I do listen to others in Yashua. I'm sure not going to go out here and listen to unwise counsel. Yes, I will listen to my brethren. Yes, I will listen to my sister. Yes, I will tag team with them. If Yahuwah's telling them the same thing he's telling me, which he is, I'm going to listen to them. We're gonna counsel one another. We're gonna check things out and make sure it is what it is. See? But that's the excuse for those who just want to be a rabbit in the hole, who just want to go hopping in the hole and say, oh, it's just all made up. Let me tell you what Yahuwah says, because I'm going to go ahead and expose something else that I wasn't going to expose. I just mentioned it on the video because I thought, that maybe people would not be so emotional and be more about Yahuwah and fall on your face before Yahuwah. Okay. Yeshayahu, chapter 45, Isaiah 45. Let's start with, I don't want to read too much because people having these attention deficit disorder things going on. People don't have enough attention span. And that's what these United States of America have done to Yashua. And Yashua allowed it to happen because they shorten our attention span that if it doesn't tickle your ear, your fancy, if it's not smooth like butter, then you block it out. And truly hindering yourself. And you think Yahuwah please? Nah. All right. Verse 23. He says, I have sworn by myself, a word has gone out of my mouth in righteousness and shall not return. So Yahuwah says he's saying this and it's not going to return back to him without doing that which he sent it out to do. See, that's what he's saying. So that to me, Yahuwah, every knee shall bow, every tongue swear. I know they say JC, but no, it's to Yahuwah. Then verse 24 says, one shall say. Now this is what he's saying about those of us who are declaring this now. Yahuwah had already spoke this. Yahuwah had already spoke this, and it just brings joy to my soul. One shall say, what's somebody going to say? Only in Yahuwah do I have righteousness and strength. He comes to him, and all those displeased with him shall be put to shame. So there are those who will say, only in Yahuwah do I have righteousness and strength. Then there are going to be others that's going to come to him who don't have this same language, who don't say only Yahuwah. Say, and he says he's going to put you to shame. Now, shame on you for not doing due diligence, but hey, we all stumbling and falling. Not so much in sin, but I'm talking about just not being able to gather all the information we need. Okay? In script. I want to read Matthew 14 through 16. So let's start at 14. And Azor begat Sadak. And Sadak began Achim, and Achim began Eli, and Eli begat Eleazar, and Eleazar begat Mathan, and Mathan begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born JC. All right. Now let's listen to Luke's genealogy of JC. Luke 3:23 through 24. Both of these will be the KJV. I want to go baseline so that no one will think I have some special. Anyway, 23. Now, Luke starts from the bottom up, and Matthew started from the top down. And when you do that, unless you actually sit down and write down the genealogies, you will miss it. And I think this is probably why it was done this way. Those who wrote Matthew and Luke, I don't know if it was Flavius or Justus, but whoever did it, Josephus, I forgot his fake name, but anyway, well, that was his fake name, but you know what I'm saying, his original name, I have to look at it. But yeah. So anyway, 23. And JC himself began to be about 30 years of age, being, parentheses, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, which was the son of Hehi, which was the son of Mathat, which was the son of Levi, which was the son of Melchi, which was the son of Joanna, which was the son of Joseph, which was the son of, yeah, okay. So, did you catch it? When you first heard it, did you catch it? Nah, because I didn't either. Until Yahweh. See, Yahweh has to open up your eyes. If Yahweh doesn't open up your eyes, and you don't get all this cockiness out of you, you're going to stay blind. Now, like, I wrote it down, because, I'm a caring person. I cares. I'm not trying to beat up the New Testament. It's already beat up. Even these sinner folks out here know something was wrong with this book. Now, years ago, I used to blow them off. I'm not blowing off nothing no more. I'm going to build my hope on things eternal, and that's Yahuwah. All right. Second, let's pay attention. This is Matthew. Let me see. Make sure I get the camera right first.